Richard Sterling awoke again in the oppressive silence of his Upper East Side penthouse. Heavy drapes choked out the city's morning light, mirroring the darkness that had resided in his heart for years. A titan of industry, his fortune stretched across continents, yet wealth offered no solace, not since Sophia vanished. His daughter gone without a trace a decade ago, a ghost in every gilded room. This morning, the familiar ache was momentarily eclipsed. A new maid, Louisa, was starting. The housekeeper had mentioned her weeks ago. Competent, discreet. Richard had barely registered the details. Faces in the penthouse were fleeting shadows. Descending to the living room, he nearly collided with her. Louisa stood with her back to him, arranging objets d'art on a shelf. Simple, almost invisible, his gaze drifted past her, then snagged. A necklace. Around her neck. The pendant's shape iced his blood. It couldn't be. He moved closer, each step a tremor in the polished floor until he saw it. The necklace. Sophia's necklace. The one she wore the day she disappeared. The floor seemed to tilt. Reality warped. He stood frozen, breath trapped, unable to look away. Louisa turned, sensing his presence, startled by the raw shock etched on his face. "Good morning, Mr. Sterling. Can I help you?" Her voice, soft, hesitant, laced with confusion at his silence. Richard fought to regain composure, his mind a chaotic storm. Impossible. That necklace vanished with Sophia. How could this maid... "That necklace," he began, voice a strangled rasp, swallowing hard, trying again. "Where did you get it?" Louisa, unsettled, glanced down, fingers tracing the pendant. "Oh, this? My mother gave it to me. Or, well, she said she did before she passed. I'm not really sure. After the accident, I don't remember much." Her answer jolted Richard. Sincere eyes, yet the coincidence screamed. Identical. Shape, color, the tiny engraved details. He'd had it custom made for Sophia. Now, a stranger. "An accident," Richard managed, voice still shaky. "You said?" "Yes. Car accident. About 6 years ago." Louisa's voice softened further, reluctant. "I was alone. Head injury, lost a lot of memory. Woke up, my adoptive mother gave me this, said it was mine since I was little, but I don't remember it at all. Amnesia. Sophia's necklace. Impossible coincidence. Something was terribly wrong. He wanted to explode with questions, demand answers, but he held back. Not yet. Something in this story he needed to understand. Richard nodded, masking the storm raging within. "It seems important to you." Neutral tone, forced. "I suppose so." A slight smile, dismissing it. Louisa turned back to the shelf, rearranging a porcelain figure. Richard wordlessly retreated. He paused at the door, watching her from a distance. Something familiar in her movements, a subtle mannerism he couldn't place, yet it gnawed at him. In his office, door closed, he sank into his leather chair, hands pressed to his face. Unanswered questions buzzed in his skull. Who was this girl? How? That necklace. He had to investigate. No coincidence could be this cruel. He grabbed the phone, dialed a number etched in his memory. A private investigator, old acquaintance, Fernando. "Fernando, it's Richard. I need you." Discreetly, new employee, Louisa, everything about her. Days blurred. Richard watched Louisa, a phantom limb of hope and dread. She moved through the penthouse, diligent, oblivious, that necklace a silent bomb. He maintained a facade of indifference, but the mystery gnawed. He needed answers. Fernando, discreet, began his investigation. One afternoon, poring over documents, Louisa's voice drifted from the hallway, chatting with the housekeeper about deliveries. Richard rose, drawn, finding her in the sun-drenched dining room, adjusting a centerpiece. The necklace, gleaming. "Louisa," softly Richard called. She turned, a kind smile. "Yes, sir?" He hesitated, curiosity overpowering caution. "That necklace, your mother, right?" She nodded, oblivious to the rising tension. "Right after the hospital. Coma, car accident." She touched the pendant unconsciously, seeking a phantom memory. "Mother said I'd worn it since I was little, but nothing before that." Richard leaned in, gaze locked on her. "And you never asked? Where it came from? What it meant?" Louisa frowned, piecing together shadows. "I did ask. Distant friend," she said. "Gave it when I was very young. Couldn't find out more. After the accident, recovering was all I focused on." "Amnesia," Richard pressed, casual tone brittle. "You said?" "Serious accident. Childhood memories, gone. Even years before. Fragments, meaningless." Compassion flickered, genuine confusion in her eyes. Could she have any idea? Or was someone from her past manipulating her? Must have been hard. Richard softened, voice catching, not knowing who you were. Louisa nodded, sadness clouding her eyes. Disconnect. Something missing. Learn to live with it. Life went on. Now, here I am. A brave smile. Relief and a fresh wave of sadness washed over Richard. Important to you, he repeated, of the necklace, voice neutral. I suppose. She shrugged, rearranging flowers, oblivious. Richard retreated, doubts churning. Back in his office, leather chair, racing heart. Louisa's story, amnesia, necklace. Disturbing fit with Sophia. But if she were Sophia, how could she remember nothing? Phone buzzed. Fernando. Richard snatched it. News? Eager, desperate. Investigating. Interesting things. Adoption records. Adopted shortly after accident. Vague details before that. Digging. Richard frowned. Accident? Serious. Police report. Alone at scene. Car unregistered. Cause undetermined. Hospital next. Few more days. Richard hung up. Answers distant, but something was shifting. Louisa might not know, but Richard was closing in. Days crawled. Routine in the penthouse. Mind elsewhere. Richard watched Louisa, fascination and anguish warring within. Traces of Sophia, expressions, walk, meticulous arrangements, echoes of memories, unwanted, relentless. Fernando's information trickled, gaps in Louisa's path, Richard impatient. Adoption after accident, life a mystery, necklace, enigma, Louisa herself, enigma, breakfast in the vast dining room, Fernando's message, news, meeting later, day a torment of anticipation. Night fell, Fernando arrived, discreet shadow, middle-aged, firm, keen eyes, office, heavy drapes, claustrophobic air. What did you find? Richard, blunt, urgency barely contained. Fernando organized papers, choosing words. Louisa, interesting case. Found after accident, no documents, car unregistered, unclear how she got it. Woman, Maria, adopted her shortly after. Little information about adoption, no biological parent records, hospital documentation, incomplete. Richard clenched fists. Doesn't help mystery, accident cause. Fernando inhaled. Road collision, alone, car, tree, impact, weeks unconscious, brain injury, amnesia, but medical report, birthmark, identify Sophia. Richard's heart hammered. Birthmark? What kind? Small spot, lower back, discreet, unique. Richard stood abruptly, pacing. Sophia. Identical birthmark. Vivid memory, childhood detail, mentioned countless times. I need to check, murmured to himself. Fernando nodded. Understand. Careful. If Sophia, don't scare her. No memories. Revelation. Harmful. Richard agreed, mind elsewhere. Louisa, Sophia, alive, close. Overwhelming, terrifying. Embrace her, tell her everything? Reality complex, no memories, how guide her back. Fernando rose, papers gathered. Keep investigating, loose ends, adoption, Maria's whereabouts. Patient for now. Richard nodded farewell. Revelation's weight crushed him. Office, hours reflecting. Next morning, caution paramount. No confrontation. Concrete evidence. Watched Louisa, peaceful work. Adapted, calm, efficient. Afternoon, garden, tending plants. Sophia's beloved place. Louisa there, deep stirring. Richard approached, slow. Louisa, soft smile, task-focused. Settling in well? Casual conversation. Yes, sir. Beautiful, peaceful, like it here. Kneeling, grass, weeding. Richard hesitated, plunging in. Don't remember much before accident. Doesn't that bother you? Louisa paused, looking up, hint of sadness. Sometimes, life before, erased, like someone else. Fragments. Touch deeply, vulnerable, instant flash of Sophia. Memories? Thoughtful pause. Fragments, strange dreams, like memories. Nothing clear, unreal. Heavy silence. Both knew more unspoken than said. Richard almost asked about birthmark. Stopped. Not yet. Need anything, I'm here. Forced smile. Thank you, sir. Gentle tone. Richard retreated, composure fraying. Conviction grew. Louisa, Sophia, emotional abyss. Doubt consumed Richard. Louisa, duties, unaware. Millionaire's heart tightened. Coincidences too many. Solid proof needed. Hope Louisa was Sophia, stronger daily. Confirmation demanded. Night, silence, office, lost in thought. Darkness mirrored inner turmoil. Phone buzzed. Fernando. Richard answered instantly. Richard, significant. Need to see this. Situation more serious. Urgent tone. What is it? apprehension. Coming now, can't wait. Hour later, Fernando in office, grave expression. Bulky folder, answers to Sophia's mystery. What do you have? Richard, blunt, nervous. Fernando folder open. Sheets across desk. Luisa's accident, bigger. Maria, indirect connection, child trafficking. Richard speechless. Strong indications Sophia not taken by chance, by design, hurt you, worst way. Taking daughter, adoption cover crime. Richard speechless. Child trafficking? How? Fernando documents. Police reports, old operations, accident area, vehicle, missing children rescue operation description. Louisa's car. Escaped something bigger than traffic accident. Miracle survival. Richard ran hands through hair, exasperated. Terrifying ordeal. Who else involved? Grim voice. Investigating names. Network dismantled after accident. Maria, not directly involved. Adoption rushed. Confusing. Collusion. Pawn in bigger scheme. Richard documents. Each page a piece. Sinister story. Someone close orchestrated Sophia's disappearance. Feared that person might be closer than thought. Louisa, remember accident? Richard, to himself. Extent of memories unknown. Tell her truth might trigger memories. Patience advised. Fragile. Forcing memories. Harm. Richard leaned back, crushed. Sophia, daughter, under same roof, unknown. Revealed truth, traumatize. Wait, uncover more? Night, barely slept. Fernando's words echoed. Child trafficking, forced adoption, accident, necklace, amnesia, conspiracy, keep him from peace. Next morning, determined. More information. Approached Louisa, cautious, no suspicion. Birthmark, confirm or dismiss suspicions. Louisa, garden, tending flowers. At ease, manual work, piece missing from life. Good morning, Mr. Richard? Smiling. Good morning, Louisa. Flowers beautiful as always. Fatherly attention. How have you been feeling lately? New memories? Dreams? Louisa wiping sweat. Some nights, places I don't recognize. Quick images, fragments. Moments I can't explain, like memories, unreal. Products of imagination. Richard hesitated, asking what truly mattered. Dreams? Childhood? Any marks? Physical detail? Recognize yourself? Confused look. Marks? Yes. Small mark on my back, near my waist. Adoptive mother always said, birthmark. Richard's heart raced. Confirmation. So close, yet out of reach. Show me? Quickly added, realizing inappropriateness. Sorry, not intrusive. Mark, important. Discovering past. Louisa hesitated, slight understanding smile, turned, lifted shirt just enough, small mark revealed, above waist. Same, identical birthmark Sophia had. Wave of emotion. Speechless, fighting tears. Daughter, Louisa, Sophia. Didn't know, not yet. Peculiar mark, shaky voice. Key to understanding who you really are. Louisa smiled, unaware, lowered shirt. Maybe, unthinking. Maybe one day it will all make sense. Richard nodded, forced smile. Everything already made sense to him. Days followed. Richard barely controlled anxiety. Birthmark, confirmation, Louisa, Sophia, daughter. Truth known, new question haunted him. Reveal truth, shatter fragile balance. Louisa, no memories. Dramatic revelation, devastating. Next steps. Richard realized caution needed. More information. What happened to Sophia years? Who involved? How accident? Adoption by stranger? Answers tangled in mystery web. Fernando untangling them. Rainy afternoon, office, old documents, Fernando's call. Richard, something significant. Need to see this. Urgency. Richard arranged meeting same night. Heavy air, humidity, rain. Fernando arrived, mansion. Bulky folder, answers. What do you have for me? Richard, nervous voice. Fernando folder open, sheets desk. Louisa's accident. Linked to something bigger. Maria, indirect connection, child trafficking group. Richard speechless. Strong indications Sophia. Not by chance. Design. Someone wanted her away from you. New adoption cover crime. Richard speechless. Child trafficking? How possible? Fernando documents. Police reports, old operations, accident area, vehicle, missing children rescue operation description. Louisa's car. Escaped something bigger than traffic accident. Miracle survival. Richard ran hands through hair, exasperated. Who else involved? Grim voice. Investigating names, network dismantled after accident, Maria, not directly involved, adoption rushed, confusing, collusion, pawn in bigger scheme. Richard looked documents, puzzle pieces. Sinister story. Someone close orchestrated Sophia's disappearance, feared person closer than thought. Louisa, remember accident. Richard, to himself. Extent of memories unknown. Tell her truth might trigger memories. Patience advised, fragile, forcing memories, harm. Richard leaned back, crushed. Sophia, daughter, under same roof, unknown, reveal truth, traumatize. Wait, uncover more details before revelation? Night, barely slept. Fernando's words echoed. Child trafficking, forced adoption, accident, necklace, amnesia, conspiracy. Keep him from peace. Next morning, determined. More information. Approached Louisa, cautious, no suspicion. Birthmark. Confirm or dismiss suspicions. Louisa, garden, tending flowers. At ease, manual work, piece missing from life. Good morning, Mr. Richard. Smiling. Good morning, Louisa. Flowers beautiful as always. Fatherly attention. How have you been feeling lately? New memories, dreams. Louisa, wiping sweat. Some nights, places I don't recognize, quick images, fragments, moments I can't explain, like memories, unreal, products of imagination? Richard hesitated, asking what truly mattered. Dreams? Childhood? Any marks? Physical detail? Recognize yourself. Confused look. Marks? Yes. Small mark on my back, near my waist. Adoptive mother always said, birthmark. Richard's heart raced. Confirmation. So close, yet out of reach. Show me? Quickly added, realizing inappropriateness. Sorry, not intrusive. Mark. Important. Discovering past. Louisa hesitated. Slight understanding smile, turned, lifted shirt just enough. Small mark revealed. Above waist. Same. Identical birthmark Sophia had. Wave of emotion. Speechless, fighting tears. Daughter. Louisa, Sophia. Didn't know? Not yet. Peculiar mark. Shaky voice. Key to understanding who you really are. Louisa smiled, unaware, lowered shirt. Maybe, unthinking. Maybe one day it will all make sense. Richard nodded, forced smile. Everything already made sense to him. Days followed. Richard barely controlled anxiety. Birthmark, confirmation, Louisa, Sophia, daughter. Truth known, new question haunted him. Reveal truth, shatter fragile balance. Louisa, no memories, dramatic revelation, devastating. As he pondered next steps, Richard realized caution needed. More information about what happened to Sophia all these years. Who was involved? How did she end up in a car accident and then adopted by a stranger? Answers still tangled, Fernando to untangle them. One rainy afternoon, Richard in his office, going over old documents. Call from Fernando broke his thoughts. Richard, I think we found something significant. Need you to see this. Situation more serious than we thought. Richard arranged meeting, same night. Heavy air, humidity, rain. Fernando arrived. Mansion, bulky folder, documents, answers to Sophia's mystery. What do you have for me, Richard? Nervous voice. Fernando opened folder, spreadsheets across Richard's desk. Managed to find records linking Luisa's accident to something much bigger. Maria, woman who adopted her, indirect connection to group involved in child trafficking. Strong indications Sophia not taken by chance, by design. Someone wanted her away from you, knew she'd be adopted to cover up crime. Richard speechless. Child trafficking? How possible? Fernando documents. Police reports, old operations, accident area. Vehicle involved in missing children, rescue operation matches Luisa's car description. Seems she escaped something far bigger than traffic accident. Miracle she survived. Richard ran hands through hair, exasperated. Who else involved? Grim voice. Fernando hesitated. Name appearing most frequently. Austin. Top lawyer at the time. Richard stunned. Austin worked alongside him years, trusted completely. Horrific involvement incomprehensible. Makes sense, Richard gritted teeth. Austin handled legal matters when Sophia disappeared. Access to everything. But why? Fernando flipped documents. Financial problems involved with corrupt businessmen. Ruin you emotionally and financially, taking daughter. Vulnerable to attack empire. Plan went off track with accident. Never follow through. Richard took deep breath, controlling fury. Betrayal. Who else is involved? Richard demanded, dark, heavy voice. Fernando took deep breath. Group-funded kidnapping dissolved after accident. Some people responsible still out there. I can give names, but please, Richard, keep me out of this. I did what I did, never wanted Sophia harmed. Richard stared, long moment. Austin's words, desperate plea for mercy. Betrayal profound. Daughter suffered years, man in front of him part of it. Not me you need to ask for forgiveness, Austin, Richard said coldly. Her. But don't expect me to protect you from consequences. Austin nodded, defeated, fate in Richard's hands. Back at Penthouse, Richard felt days wait. Revelations from Austin's office echoed, names of others involved, but victory hollow. Nothing erased years of pain Sophia endured. How to tell her everything? Arrived home, Louisa waiting office, as arranged. Richard entered slowly, closed door. Mr. Richard, what happened? Louisa asked, noticing a tension on his face. Richard sat, hands clasped. Louisa, need to tell you something very important. Change everything you think you know about yourself. Louisa frowned, concern. What is it? Richard, deep breath. Your name isn't Louisa, never was. You're my daughter, Sophia. Daughter disappeared all those years ago. Silence filled room, Louisa still, staring, not comprehending. Truth, long hidden, finally out. Wait for reaction. What? Whispered shock. You had accident, amnesia. Kidnapped as child. We thought you were dead, but you're here. I'm your father. Louisa, hand to mouth, eyes wide, unable to process. World, Sophia's world, upside down. Shock overwhelmed her. Truth. Richard revealed, impossible to believe. Stared, stunned, mind unable to grasp. Last years of life flashed, disconnected fragments. Accident, adoption, vague memories, lost childhood. Everything believed fragile, bubble of lies. Can't be true, whispered, voice trembling. I'm Louisa, always been. Richard's heart ached, confusion, despair in eyes. Revelation devastating, no turning back. I know hard to understand now, but I'm telling you truth. Richard, softly, reaching emotionally. You were kidnapped as child Louisa Sophia. You're my daughter. We searched years, never found trace. Now? Louisa shook head slowly, processing. How can this be true? Shaky voice. I don't remember anything. Don't remember being your daughter, living with you. None of this makes sense. Richard moved closer, tears in eyes, understood difficulty facing, built new identity after accident, amnesia, tearing it apart. Truth, painful, had to be told. I know doesn't make sense now, Sophia. Terrible accident, lost memory, adopted by another family. How you became Louisa, but I have proof. Necklace you wear, birthmark. Everything points to it. Found documents show what happened all these years. Louisa silent long time. Richard's words echoed. Deny it, believe mistake. Something inside stirring. Fragments of memories, small flashes, distant past emerging. Garden, child's laughter, song, couldn't place. Confusing, fragmented, but there. Echoes of forgotten life. Louisa tried to speak, voice failed. I don't know what to say. Richard gently took hands. Don't have to say anything now. I know overwhelming. I'm here. By your side, while you process everything. Lost you once, not going to lose you again. Words unexpected comfort. Confusion still clouded thoughts. Stood up, stepping away, catch breath. Need time to think. Understand this. Eyes searching for something familiar in large room. Richard nodded, understanding. Of course. Take all time you need. I'm here for whatever you need. Louisa left room slowly, mind racing. Process flood of information. Reached room, sat bed, looking at necklace. Small object, always part of life, unquestioned, now immense weight. Vague memories adoptive mother surfaced. Also sensed deep down, always known something wrong, something missing. Lay down bed, closed eyes, images began to come. Moments from childhood hadn't made sense before, now aligning. Swing in yard, house didn't recognize, smelled flowers, couldn't identify, heard male voice calling Sophia, voice full of love, care. Same voice, now knew belonged to Richard. Days followed, Louisa, Sophia, tentatively identifying withdrawn. Spoke little with Richard, grappling truth identity. Each night, more vivid dreams, flashbacks, moments childhood buried deep, gradually pieces of life coming together, not without pain. Richard did everything to give Sophia space, couldn't force her accept truth quickly. Patience needed, offer support, no pressure. Days of waiting agonizing, daughter's emotional recovery more important than own anxiety. Sunny morning, week after revelation, Louisa sought him out garden, Richard trimming flowers, calming down, footsteps behind him. Dad hesitantly called. Richard turned slowly, heart racing, sound of that word. Daughter standing there, name waited so long to hear, moment never thought would come. Eyes uncertainty, new light in them, finally beginning to accept truth. Sophia, replied, voice thick emotion, approached cautiously, shy smile. I've been remembering a few things. Not much yet, but starting to remember you. Things we used to do together. House. Feels so distant, but real. Richard stepped forward, extended hand. Sophia took it. Gentle touch, weight of years' separation. Stood silence, long moment, no words, just feeling each other's presence. Beginning to reconnect after so much pain. Don't need to force anything, Sophia, Richard said, breaking silence. I know long process. Most important thing, you're here now. We'll get through this together. Sophia nodded, tears in eyes. I want to try. Want to know more about my life before, about our family. Richard smiled, moved, and I will tell you everything when you're ready. Sophia's journey reconnect true identity, not immediate, gradual acceptance. Richard, each day regaining peace daughter lost. Memories still slow, but Sophia beginning to feel more connected to life before accident. Reconnecting with father. Road to healing long, ready to walk it together. Days that followed Richard and Sophia's reunion, mixed emotions. Deep joy finding each other again. Journey far from over. Sophia struggling integrate fragmented memories. Richard seeking justice. Past separated them, pushed them toward confronting those responsible. Richard knew Austin and accomplices still at large. Lawyer's confession revealed names, determined to close painful chapter. Richard involved Fernando, mission bring them to justice. Couldn't rest until people responsible for daughter's kidnapping paid for crimes. Meanwhile, Sophia, still adjusting, grappled conflicting emotions. Grown closer, Richard, long afternoons talking past. Richard showed old photos, shared moments before kidnapping. Gradually, Sophia began to feel more connected to life once had. Also faced deep emotional confusion. Adoptive mother Maria raised her after accident, significant figure in life. Even though Sophia now knew Maria part of larger scheme, love felt for her still real. Accepting truth identity, questioning emotional foundation supported life until now. Afternoon, walking through garden, Sophia finally brought up subject bothering her. Dad, I understand everything happened. I know you want people to pay for what they did, softly said. But I still feel lost. Maria, she raised me. Even though started wrong way, I loved her. How can I process all this? Richard stopped walking, turned to look at daughter. New difficult issue for her. Sophia, never expected any of this easy for you. Maria, mother figure you had so long, I understand how much she meant to you. But you need to understand she was part of something much bigger. Something took you away from true life. Sophia nodded. Confusion remained. I understand that, yet I still see her as only mother I've known. I know she was manipulated just as I was. I know love she had for me was real. That's what hurts. Knowing she was used, how do I reconcile that? Richard sighed, recognizing depth daughter's struggle. Couldn't deny Maria's impact on Sophia's life. Played role of mother, even twisted circumstances. What Maria did for you can't be erased. Fact you still see her with affection shows that, despite everything, she gave you something important. Maybe she was victim too, but we can't forget. In some way, she allowed you to be taken from your true life. Sophia looked down, eyes tears. I don't know how to forgive her, and at the same time, I feel like I need to. Richard stepped closer, embraced her, heart heavy. Knew Sophia's healing process involved more than accepting true identity. Grapple complex feelings, loyalty, love, someone raised her questionable circumstances. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting what happened, Richard said softly. Means you can find peace to move forward. You have every right to feel way you do about Maria, just as you have right to seek truth about who you are. I'm here to support you every step of way. Sophia nodded, tears streaming down face. New accepting true identity only part healing. Growing need for reconciliation within her. Reconciling love for Maria with truth now carried. Same week, evidence in hand, Richard and Fernando turned everything over authorities. Austin and accomplices arrested, serious charges. Crucial step toward bringing justice Sophia's story. Richard knew arrests wouldn't erase years of pain, separation. Even so, news of arrests came, Richard felt sense of relief. Chapter finally starting to close. Done everything could to ensure those torn family apart paid for actions. Now focus on what truly mattered, rebuilding life with Sophia. One evening, days after arrests, Sophia sat with Richard Garden under stars. Silence comfortable, peace hadn't felt in long time. I still have long way to go to accept all of this, she said, slight smile. But I'm happy to be here with you. Knowing those people won't hurt anyone else brings me bit of relief. Richard held daughter's hand, deeply moved. We're in this together, Sophia. We always will be. Sat silence again, gazing stars. First time in years, hope. Justice served, father and daughter finally begin to heal wounds of past. Dawn that morning felt different. Sunlight streaming into Richard's penthouse, brighter, warmer, nature itself in harmony with new phase in his and Sophia's life. Past months challenging, somehow found way back to each other. Sophia, more clarity identity, gradually reconnecting former life. Memories, still fragments, some clear, others hazy. What mattered most, finally knew who she was. Allowing herself to be part of family stolen from her. Morning, Richard sipped coffee veranda. Sophia joined him, light smile. Seemed more at peace, comfortable with herself, life rebuilding alongside father. Did you sleep well? Richard asked, pouring cup coffee. Yes, actually, I think I slept better than I have in years, she replied, laughing softly. I think things are finally starting to fall into place. Richard smiled, heart warmed seeing her lighter. I'm glad to hear that. You've been incredibly strong, Sophia. I don't know if I could have gone through all this way you have. Sophia looked at father with tenderness. Knew he also carried weight of disappearance years. Both needed time fully heal. Still, much to process, being together, rebuilding bond time weakened. Already big step. I think we're doing pretty well, considering everything happened, she said thoughtfully. I still feel a bit divided at times. Memories of my life as Louisa still with me, but I'm learning to reconcile who I was with who I am now. Richard nodded, understanding. I don't expect you to forget what you lived through as Louisa. That's part of you. What's important, you're here, living in truth. Together we'll move forward. You have your story, Sophia, and I'll be by your side for whatever comes next. Sophia smiled, feeling warmth Richard's words. Father she was beginning to remember, caring, protective, but most of all, present. And what will next chapter be? She asked, hint of curiosity. Richard took sip coffee, answering. Whatever you want it to be. Life full of possibilities. Now you have power to choose what you want. Continuing to work here, traveling, studying, even something completely new. What matters, you have freedom to be whoever you want to be. Idea, open future, new sense excitement, Sophia. So long, lived life built on half-truths, not knowing who really was. Now chance rediscover, not just identity, also desires, dreams. I think I want to try some new things, she said, reflecting. Maybe travel, see more of world, explore parts of myself I haven't discovered yet. Richard nodded, smile. I think that's great idea. You deserve it. Sat silence few minutes, enjoying gentle morning breeze. Sophia looked out horizon, feeling mixed serenity, hope. First time long while felt sense of control over own life. New journey to this point hadn't been easy, now father by side, ready to face future confidence. Dad, thank you for never giving up on me, she said, breaking silence. Richard looked at her eyes, misty, soft smile. Wasn't single day I gave up. Now that you're back, we make most of every moment moving forward. Sophia smiled, holding father's hand. We will. Gentle wind rustled leaves, trees, life around them continued harmony. Father and daughter been through journey pain, loss, reunion, above all, rediscovered love, connection never truly broken. Day, under warm, bright sun, Sophia and Richard began walking new path together, path of healing, redemption, hope. Ready to live life taken from them, certainty no matter what happened, would face it together, as always meant to be.